I served in the military. I was in the parachute regiment for 7 years. And like Andrew, I've received several medals for different operations that I conducted across the world. Now, I'm no fan of Andrew whatsoever, and I completely believe that although he hasn't been convicted of anything, there's this.
And he denies everything. You don't give 12 million quid to someone who's accused you of something.
Right.
It's tricky, isn't it?
Far too much smoke for there not to be fire, in my opinion. However, I do believe that, what he would have received is something called an operational service medal, and this is a very common type of medal. And essentially what it means is if you serve for 30 days within a conflict area, you get that. But, well, actually it means that if you're involved in the operation for 30 days, you get that medal. But he had a rosette with his Falklands medal, which means that he was involved during, the fighting period.
Right.
Now, he did his 30 days in that conflict area. Every single other member of the military who did their 30 days was entitled to that medal. So everyone else was entitled to it, and he was entitled to it under the same circumstances, right? He had to serve those 30 days. Now,
you get it for serving. And
exactly.
You take it away, it's almost like you're saying you didn't serve. There's a lack of logic to this, no?
Exactly, right. We can't undo time. We can't go back in time and remove him from that conflict. He was there. He did serve. And just like every other serviceman, he is entitled to that medal. He did what he needed to do to be entitled to it. Now, yes, I don't agree with his behaviour today and what's going on, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he did go to the Falklands War and serve in that war. And just like everyone else, he has the same entitlement to own that medal.
What's the personal connection? I mean, what I mean is, what message does it send to all veterans? That's why I wanted to talk to you first, rather than, just someone with I'm sure an interesting, but not a person. Does it? I mean, do you feel anything personal? Is it as if your medals could be taken away from you if your life took an unexpected turn or an unpleasant turn, and it would somehow be diluting or denying even what you have done for, in your case, Queen and country?
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't really feel.
Does it not?
It doesn't really feel personal. No.
Okay.
Probably that's because I feel quite assured that I'm not going to, end up texting paedophiles, in my spare time. But no,
I'm very glad to hear it. But then again, that's what you would say, Dave.
Yeah. But on a more serious note,
Yes.
No, I don't feel like I don't feel anything personal.
I just wondered, and other people may be different. I just wondered whether it somehow diluted the power or the profundity of the honour of the medal to know that it could be temporary, even though it was given for something that can never be undone, that can never unhappen. It happened, you got the medal. You take the medal away. I can't quite find the words, but you're not feeling whatever it is that I'm trying to describe. This is great radio. Yeah. You're not feeling whatever it is I'm failing to describe. I'm glad we've established that.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is, it doesn't worry me for another reason. So a medal is really just a physical, thank you from the government for our service. But the truth is, I'm proud of my service with or without that medal.
Yes.
So regardless of where my life may or may not take me in future, if that medal was to be taken away, I would still be proud of that service. Okay, that service would still exist.
Yes.
And that piece of metal doesn't represent how I feel about my service to my country. It's just a physical thank you, but they can't take away what's inside me, which is the pride I have to serve alongside the men I served alongside, and the good we did in the world.
Yeah, beautifully put. And hang on. What about the rank? Is that different in your mind?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I can't relate to that because
you're never going to get one.
Because my rank didn't carry on after I left the military. That's something that is, only the royals really get to enjoy that privilege. And So it's not something that I can ever relate to, but it doesn't. It's a meaningless rank. It's not he's not using it operationally at the moment. So it's just a title. Like, I'm sure someone like him is going to feel very hurt by being taken away, but it doesn't really mean anything in any real sense other than
yes, exactly that. Meaningless baubles. But of course, if you're a member of the royal family, then the chances are that you see meaningless baubles as rather more meaningful than the rest of us do.
I did 30 years in the Royal Navy, and I was a helicopter pilot, and then latterly a fast jet pilot. So, where I am on this is very simple and very, very similar to your previous caller. Yeah. So, the rank I have absolutely zero issue with at all. He should be stripped of that, because actually it's almost as though the military would rather he wasn't part of them anymore. But actually, the medal he won. He served. He did. It's a bit like taking away your O-level certificate. I'm sorry, but you've got that.
Or your FA Cup winners medal. You were in the team.
The whole lot. You can't do that. And as I said to your researcher, Becky, flying a helicopter in a maritime environment is tricky. And actually, when you do it in war conditions, it's even more tricky. And he did it. And he did it well. He wasn't particularly protected from the action.
He couldn't be, could he? Could you protect a helicopter pilot?
No, I mean, you keep... And I think you've just hit on a really good point there, James, because actually flying a helicopter at sea is very, very dangerous. It doesn't matter whether you're being shot at or not. So the reality is he did it, he earned his medal, he should keep it. Now, I've never heard of anybody losing any military medals sort of after the event, if that makes sense. So,
what if you get cashiered or court-martialed or something like that?
Again, I mean, I don't know, but
someone
I don't
listening
think
will know.
You do. Somebody will. Some.
Because it does seem like it's a reward for something that you have done, and you can't not have done it, unless it turns out that you sent your twin brother or you sent a doppelganger. We're having a very different conversation. Yes, of course, but you can't unhappen something, can you?
No, you can't. So, and I know a lot of my military friends. I mean, I served on the same squadron as Andrew. So,
did you?
Yeah. So, a lot of my friends know him better than I do in reality, and it was a strange time having a role in the squadron for sure. I mean, he was in and out. He wasn't there a lot, but when he was kind of there.
Okay.
But the difficulty was, I think, that we always knew that he would be treated differently, but actually, embarked on a ship flying during a war, he wasn't, and he did it. So, keep the medal.
Did he? I don't think you'll want to answer this question, but did he have a good reputation among his colleagues, his comrades?
Not particularly.
Okay, that'll do. Oh, quelle surprise, though, eh? Did you ever see him sweat?
I'm gonna
plead the fifth.
Yeah,
what would happen? What would happen in a sauna if you really did lose the ability to sweat? Would you pop? Would you explode?
The O-level analogy is a good one. You did
is
it,
it?
You got it. Yeah, but I think once you get a medal, it's your personal property. You can do with it what you want. Famously, Siegfried Sassoon threw his military cross into the sea.
Yes.
Lord Ashcroft, if you go at the top of the Imperial War Museum, there's a gallery full of Victoria crosses, mostly won by working-class men whose family sold them to Lord Ashcroft for his private amusement. They're yours, aren't they? So, they can take his rank and his pension and his titles away, but I don't think you can take that medal away.
Well, I mean, actually, you've reminded us that it's figurative and physical, isn't it? So I don't know that they could require him to actually send it back.
No, it's his bit of metal.
It is his bit of metal. But
and it's his inch of glory.
But they could take away the award. They could retrospectively say you're no longer able to describe yourself as a holder of the Falklands Medal, couldn't they?
I don't think anyone does anyway. It's not the sort of medal you put after your name. You put VC for Victoria Cross after your name.
Make a big
quite
fuss
rightly
about
so,
that,
but
wouldn't you?
DSO, DFC and all that. But I don't think anyone puts... Because it's not actually called the Falklands Medal. It's the General Service Medal, brackets, Falkland Islands, close brackets. It's the same medal as you get for Northern Ireland or a dozen, 20, 30 other campaigns. It's called the General Service Medal.
So it is just saying I was there.
Yeah, that's literally
Does it feel petty to you? I mean, it's a weird one, this, isn't it? Because I think we're all agreed that Andrew is not somebody you'd want to go for a Pizza Express with in Woking, or a sauna. But equally, you can actually say too much is too much.
Yeah, it seems absurd to me. It's like, all right, what does it gain the world by taking that?
I'm going to make a
even if you
prediction.
could?
I'm going to make a prediction. I don't think they're going to take it away. And I presume that you're also of a piece with everybody else when it comes to the ranks.
Well, yeah, if he was, I can't remember what rank he ended up as. I was silly. I missed the Falklands. I was a bit too young, but when I served a lot of the...
I thought you were going to say I was busy.
Yeah, I was in a joint Army-Navy Air Force unit for a bit, and some of the Navy guys that had been shipmates of his and said he was generally quite well thought of by the lower ranks. I mean, your previous caller was an officer as well. I mean, maybe you knew a bit more up close, but everyone said the agreement seemed to be he was quite a decent officer.
That's nice to
from
hear.
a petty officer's point of view. And,
he earned
his ranks. He was promoted genuinely. He was he wasn't like a...
Yeah, so he keeps the rank he had. He keeps the rank he had when he left the Navy, but what happens if you're a working royal, you carry on getting promoted. So on his 55th birthday 10 years ago, they made him an honorary vice-admiral.
Fantastic. I wish I'd been... I was 55 last year. Maybe they could have made me up to sergeant.
Honorary sergeant.
Yeah.
Should he keep that, though?
That'd be great.
Should he keep that, do you think?
I don't think so, no.
No, I don't. So keep the medal, lose the title.
I think that's the consensus, James, isn't it?
Well, I don't like consensus. I'm allergic to consensus. It is the enemy of the radio phone-in host.
We're going to go down a bit of a minefield you're entering today, obviously.
Carry on.
Medals. Okay. They have been forfeited in the past. Now, first off, you've got awards, Victoria Cross, etc., DSOs and what have you. They were forfeited in the past for murder, suicide, etc.
Right.
Quite famously, I think, of at least one lad from the Charge of the Light Brigade. What happened, it got to, I think it was the First World War, George V, and there was because it's only the sovereign that could take away the Victoria Cross, if I recall.
Yeah.
And it came in front of him, and he said, hang on a minute, when he won this medal, he wasn't a bigamist, he wasn't a bank robber, etc. Therefore, I will not forfeit this Victoria Cross. But it had happened in the past. By the way, it's the South Atlantic Medal that he's got, the Falklands Medal, they'll call it. It's actually the South Atlantic Service Medal.
Okay.
Okay, now going on from that, for service medals, serving in a campaign. Okay, medals have been forfeited in the past. I'm a big medal collector for various reasons. Can't collect what I'd like to collect, but never mind.
What does that mean?
And I'd like to collect Waterloo medals to officers.
But they're too expensive?
5-6 grand ago.
And you collect medals of people who have passed?
Absolutely. You do get a lot of current stuff coming. I mean, you're going down another path now.
Well, that's what I was saying. Because I was hoping I hadn't offended you by accident before you came on when I said I don't like people buying gallantry medals of people who are still alive. In fact, to be fair to Lord Ashcroft, Michael Ashcroft, I'm sure most of the ones, if not all of the ones he's bought, probably are from people that have passed away rather than...
No.
But it just becomes another family asset.
It's a huge minefield at that point.
Yeah.
And there's another thing you can go... But service medals, back to where we were.
Yes.
First World War medals, you do see on some records, medals are forfeited.
Okay.
Now, that then again can be a bit odd, because you still see medals out there. I'll throw two names at you, Christie and Haig.
Blimey.
Exactly. Christie's pair's still out there, never taken away. Haig, Second World War pilot, his medals are still out there.
That's the body in the bar. No, that's Crippen. What was Haig? Who was Haig? I know who Christie was. That was Rillington Place.
Haig was the serial killer killing girls down on the south coast. It's actually the TV series The Charmer is loosely based around
Nigel,
Haig.
It was Clive Owen at his absolute... Was it Nigel Havers? Or
Nigel Havers.
Nigel Havers.
Well, based on the Haig thing, Haig's medals are still out there.
Okay.
You do see medals, and it'll say on the papers, medals forfeited. And it can be, I would say, for quite minor reasons. When you get people that were executed, their medals still issued. First World War pairs, trios, etc.
Yeah.
They're out there.
This is fascinating.
So service medals can be, very rarely now, I would assume. Look, Harry Roberts, he kills coppers. His Malaya medal's still out there.
Why do you... I mean, this is your... I mean, every time you ring me, we discover a new field of expertise that you've got, Gary. But this sounds like a real humdinger of a field of expertise.
Look, Victoria Crosses, lost. Okay, someone said about would they sell them. Hilarious case a few years ago. A family applied to the Queen and said, our Victoria Cross to our grandfather was lost, Boer War. Can we have a replacement? It had never been done before.
Oh, yeah.
The Queen signed it off, replaced it, family put it to auction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she apparently was not best pleased.
Well, she wouldn't be. But it's theirs to do with whatever they want. So to be fair...
Well, yes.
Come on, is this why it's a minefield? Because I'm thinking that's ours. We could have a few quid off Grandad there and we've lost it. So let's get a new one. Grandad, it's what Grandad would have wanted. It's what Grandad would have wanted. Clive Owen was Chancer, not the Charmer. I got confused.
Yeah, and then you get the issue where someone in the family says, look, this Victoria Cross, we're going to get a minimum of 250,000 for it. Let's sell it. Then you get the family arguments over money. Where's it going?
Yeah.
Siegfried Sassoon medals, he claimed he threw them in the Thames. He didn't. The family found them about 20 years ago, sitting in a loft, and the first thing the family did, put them to auction.
Is that true? I missed
Absolutely.
that. Good Lord. Well, you live and learn, don't you, eh?
So I've had a couple of people out from, with Victoria Cross winners, relatives, descendants. One of them was a nephew.
Right.
And that was quite a dark one. It's in the Ashcroft collection. And literally, the medals, they didn't know how they went out of the family.
Oh, really? That's sad,
happens.
isn't it? Yeah, of course it does. 'Cause you'd do it on the Never Never, wouldn't you? You'd do it on the Quiet.
Yeah. So medals can be forfeited. It's a service medal. Some of them are still out there for people you think, really?
Should he lose his? Should Andrew lose his?
Absolutely no.
Oh.
It'd be a ridiculous thing to do.
Okay.
He was there. He did what he did, serving in the South Atlantic. He played as a decoy, remember, off the back of ships, hoping that the missiles would go for his helicopter rather than the ship. And he was also on, I think it was the Atlantic conveyor. He was actually bringing his helicopter up to clear the smoke away.
And the honorary rank?
Rank's got to go.
Yeah. I mean, this is... I can't remember the last time we were all in 100% agreement about everything. And just to make things even more exciting, every single caller knows a heck of a lot more or has a much closer connection with the issue than I ever would.